Welcome back to the LEC Summer season. Before we get into G2 versus Vitality, I have so much regret. I let the Mad Lions down. They had a fishing win celebration, and I didn't say you've caught a sea bass, but I think it's at least a C+.
I'm sorry, someone tweeted at me to literally stop this man, and I feel so bad that I couldn't do it here because I heard him starting. There's this giant glass board in front of me. I can't stop him. He can say whatever he wants.
The glass board's named Chat now, by the way. Jankos and Aphelios.
Did they get to decide that? Because I feel like they don't.
They unanimously said it first on broadcast. Nevertheless, now that we're in draft,
I want it to be Papa. Papa
G2 versus Vitality. Quickshot and the inanimate Papa. For G2 and Vitality, things just got real spicy. Misfits winning a game. Origin losing a game. And frankly, Sjokz winning too. It makes this middle of the table and that bottom 4, 5, 6 way more scary.
It's crazy too, because I feel like if you were to not look at the standings, you would come into this game and say like, Vitality, you know, too bad, you're probably not making playoffs. But then you look at it, it's like, wait a second, they're like one game down, like one win down from being a legitimate playoffs contender here. So this is the time to strike. A wounded G2. Vitality are going to be trying to take them down. At the same time, G2 still so much to prove here today. Yeah,
definitely the case. And when we look at the bans, Ezreal Kha'Zix's Karma taken off the table. Syndra Twisted Fate removed from Vitality. Finally, Volibear as well. Caps has been the shining light for G2 Esports in summer. I like seeing targeted bans towards him from Team Vitality. And it's going to be a first pick Kalista for G2.
And while Caps has been, you know, the shining star for G2, the old, you know, sort of heroes on this team, Jankos, Perkz, have definitely fallen off. So G2 already come to this draft to say, Perkz, we're putting on you something that can slam lane. He's played the Kalista before. He has looked good on this in the past, so we'll see what he's able to do with it. Now, seeing Thresh open makes my mind immediately jump to that pick as a comfort for Mikyx. My question to Vitality is, would they be willing to try and take something away like that Thresh here in the first rotation?
I mean, Labrov has played 3 games of Thresh, 3 games of Bard as well. I'd love to see another Bard game from him, but let's see how the draft plays out. For Perkz, Kalista, this will be his 4th appearance on the champion. He's won 2, he's lost 1, and Vitality really taking their time here, pondering all of the options. Now, excuse my ignorance. We all know I suck at this game, right?
Okay.
But with Kalista first pick and knowing that Caitlyn is a discussion point, do you even consider that? What do you think of that matchup?
So it's an interesting question because Kalista's strength in lane is because of her passive. She can jump on you very easily when she's paired with a strong support. She is very good at fighting. She's one of the best like dueling AD carries in the early game. Caitlyn, again, very strong early game strength, but it's not because she constantly like fights you and trades with you. It's because she can trade with you without you trading back. So Caitlyn is a pick that will outrange the Kalista. And I think it's a little bit more up to, do you want to run like another range support alongside that Caitlyn to keep her pinned underneath her tower, and that can remove a lot of the strength of a Kalista.
Now, we fortunately had more than enough time to have that discussion. Unfortunately for me, it didn't pay off. I took a gamble. It's going to be the Aphelios and the Sett locked in. We anticipate that to be jungle. We've seen 2 Sett supports, but you know, I'm just throwing it out there. And now we get to see what G2 wants to play around, what other options they go for. Blind pick Zoe right now.
Zoe, excellent pick for Caps. It's going to be Claps Day. I feel with the Zoe here, see what he can do with that one.
No, that's called the Caster Curse, right?
Yeah, sure. You know,
you can't use the Force to predict something like that. And
who's to say I can't, Trevor? Who's to say I don't have it?
Light side or dark side, right? Did you predict craps or claps? That's what we're going to see.
All right. I like it. I like the different look here for G2. Of course, the Zoe pick can be really powerful into both, you know, a Sett and an Aphelios, outrange them super well, fight, jump on out of there, pick up a flash, get out, no problem. And it won't be the Thresh for Mikyx down bot side. So I think Nautilus gives you a little bit more of the all-in ability with a Kalista outside you, whereas the Thresh Lantern could be a really good get out of harm's way tool for you. The Nautilus is one that I don't necessarily love. Like, I'm actually more of a fan of the Thresh alongside the Kalista, especially with some of the problems we've seen alongside G2, but we'll see how this 2v2 ends up playing.
The one thing I do like about the combination with the Zoe, though, when you combine Sleepy Trouble Bubble or the engage from Kalista ultimate as well. There's a number of tools that you can unlock. But let's see how it plays out, of course. Mikyx and Perkz want to develop on a struggling Summer Split. And when we look at the bans now, Olaf and Shen taken out of the pool, followed up with the Camille. Sejuani is available. Sejuani is open. Would you consider it? The only reason I ask is it's Jankos. It's Jankos.
No.
I'm doing it for the memes, not for the comp.
Jankos doesn't want a Sejuani. Get that
I know he
garbage out of here.
But Grabs always does. I saw Grabs tweeting earlier after this Sejuani performance. And the final ban now from G2. What direction will it be? 2 top laners removed from the pool, and the jungle option as well. And it's going to be the Gangplank taken out. So for Vitality now, we're looking for the support in the top lane.
Yeah, I think the GP ban here is smart for G2 because I think if GP is open, Vitality can go ahead and pick that on first rotation here and then save support pick. Of course, like GP just does well in a lot of matchups. So instead, now GP gone, a lot of the safer blind pick tops removed from the board. I think Vitality say, let's give last pick to Cabochard, unless they just lock in Sion, because that's sort of a Cabochard thing these days.
I like the Thresh here as well. Thresh Aphelios is a duo we have seen a whole lot
yes,
this
sir.
split, and as I mentioned already, 3 games played for Labrov on that champion. Only 1 win though.
Yeah, I also think Thresh gives you so much value against some of the picks G2 already have. So if someone's like already got hit by the sleep, right? They're about to take down, Lantern comes out, they get pulled away, the poke doesn't follow through, or if Nautilus ult is coming out, if Labrov is positioning correctly, you can get people out of very difficult situations.
Gnar.
But this is going to be a different one with the Gnar in the top lane, blinded too.
So this is going to be the 10th unique champion for Wunder, the first time Gnar and blind. And if you were looking for that all-in that you touched on, how Nautilus is slightly stronger than Thresh, you combine that with Zoe Peel and either the Lee Sin or the Nocturne, I feel like they've got a fairly strong kind of like options for pick here.
Yeah, so right now, what G2 do have that I'm seeing immediately, right, is with Lee Sin, Zoe, you can try to control around mid lane, and then when you have, in theory, a pushing bot side, a pushing top side as well, and you want to, you can try to set up dives on side lanes, which has sort of been a classic G2 move for quite a long time now. I do actually like the idea of locking in a Malphite here, just sort of soaking up the lane phase, building up a lot of armor when you're against double AD topside and a Kalista. Like, Zoe's the only magic damage source, and she's not going to be, you know, an Azir or a Corki level of magic damage where, you know, you can shred a front line. Zoe's a champion that can't really deal with that, so Malphite carries so much inherent value here for Vitality.
I still don't know if I like seeing Malphite. I just, you know...
It's Cabochard. The dude locks in Perkz for breakfast.
I know. I understand the value. I just find the champion so mad. By the way, this is the very first Gnar of the Summer Split for Wunder and G2 Esports. Just a reminder of the standings. G2, 6 wins, 7 losses. Vitality, 5 wins, 8 losses. And with the fact that everybody around them is within touching distance, genuinely every single game does count for the 5 remaining. It's G2 taking on Vitality. And we'll be jumping into our music video in just a few seconds. Ender, why don't you take it away?
Let's do this thing.
Yay. Oh, my timing was way off. Yeah, I spaced. Don't, just, if you're gonna laugh at me. Don't mute yourself.
Okay, I was muting myself the whole time. Let's do this thing.
I forgot that video was coming, and I totally messed up the timing, and I was like, I should have been speaking about the comms. Like, such a rookie mistake.
I was like, you can just let it breathe, man. You know, like we do that all the time. You give it like the 5-second pause.
So, Ender, please dig me out of this hole that I'm in. Where should we be focusing our attention for the early laning phase?
All right. Early laning phase, I feel like looking at these two comps overall, it's pretty clear to me that G2 want to get more done in the early game. So for the first 5-10 minutes, I'm going to be looking through more of a G2 Jankos lens here to see what he can actually accomplish. One thing with both Lee Sin and Sett that you see with these junglers is a lot of times it's about controlling early scuttle crabs and trying to build up that early level 4, then converting that into objectives. But the other minigame for Jankos in this one is going to be to see whether or not he can actually work work to set up some sort of a play on a side lane. Again, we said Gnar's going to likely be pushing up top side. The bot lane of Perkz and Mikyx wants to play aggro too, so if Jankos were to link up with Caps, you can threaten early dives and get to the ball rolling for your team.
Okay, so let's see where Jankos then goes. For the time being, he's starting on red buff. You can see Skeanz, he's starting top. Early advantage to G2. By the way, they killed that ward in the river. Game changer against Comp and Labrov. Obviously not, as Labrov will get an early play there onto Mikyx. Net HP, I think, marginally advantage of G2, but frankly, pretty much even Stevens as the wave is now about to die. And you can already see that Wunder got a little bit of a push on early as Cabochard was helping out Skeanz on red. And this wave will push towards Cabo. And obviously, mini Gnar form is just such a pain in the ass to deal with for Malphite early on.
Yeah, he's going the, actually level 2 bot side. Going to be a lot of damage going down. Labrov's lucky he's able to proc the Aftershock there.
And that's exactly what you wanted to see. You know, you talked about early plays, early pressure, and using the Kalista Nautilus, early advantage, land the hook, and now Comp and Labrov push back.
And now I want to see what Jankos can do, because Jankos, of course, red buff into his top side is now going to be pathing down after the Wolves, so very likely that he wants to play for this bot side Scuttle Crab and get some control around that area. Now, if he does that, Skeanz can very easily trade up in the top lane, which means if you anticipate that for Skeanz, actually, Jankos changing his path. So this is going to be a little bit unexpected now, as he's going to be looping around for the mid lane. Milica would not expect a gank from the top side of the map at this point.
Now, is bird the word? Let's take a look. Jankos.
Bot lane's moving too for G2. Available. But Mikyx going to give it away if he steps over that ward.
Bird is the word. That's it. A bird. The bubble falls short. Oh, man.
Wow.
It's like they're going for this dive. Skeanz come in, but he cannot save the day. Skeanz manages to get the shield and Caps gets out. I did not think they were going to dive that.
They went hard right there. I mean, Mikyx walks straight over the ward. Milica's like, I got this. I can react with the flash and get on out of there. That was not the case at all. G2, I mean, Mikyx, they're the one that just goes super ham underneath the tower.
And the thing is, you mentioned this about how G2 like to play around side lanes, and historically it's kind of been Caps in recent memory that would push his lane and he would go to the side lanes. Now you see the lanes coming to him, reading that situation, and remember, the only reason that can actually happen, Mikyx and Perkz getting the advantage bottom, pushing Comp and Labrov under the tower to unlock his roam.
Yeah, I really like that coming through, because one thing about the Zoe versus Azir matchup in mid lane is a lot of people actually pick Azir or Zoe as a counter into Azir. In theory, you know, you outrange, you can poke, you offer a lot. Azir will still get pushed early on in the laning phase. It's pretty easy to do that, especially with lethal tempo. If you That's a fake one.
Yeah, I panicked for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, I just like...
It was about to time out. It's okay.
I forgot it was Zoe.
Yeah, but Milica can very easily push the wave, so I think that's a really smart adaptation for G2 to make that move towards mid lane. Of course, the repercussion from that now, too, is Milica doesn't have flash and is going to be vulnerable. When he takes 6, though, maybe they can look to punish Caps here. But on the flip side, Jankos also was able to get both Scuttle Crabs, so now that gave him a little bit of boost in the early jungle. He has double longswords, and one thing I love to see junglers do when they get that early EXP lead off of the Scuttle Crabs, and you have a strong winning bot lane, look for the Drake solo. He can go for that very easily.
And that's so important because, you know, Jankos being able to get crabs early on, for a comp that wants to make proactive plays in the 5 to 10 minute window, which is what you talked about, is going to play to their advantage. Now,
don't say anything about crabs. You just want Scuttle Crabs, not
Skeanz reading. You're not meant to call it out. Damn it. Skeanz reading the potential for a play on the bottom lane. He was coming down immediately with Jankos. Jankos took a little bit of a creative path around, and now Labrov is in trouble. Flash has been used, Sonic Wave into Resonating Strike, and there's no follow-up yet. G2 maintain a 600 gold lead for now, but I do like the fact that Skeanz was sort of anticipating that play.
And now Jankos can move immediately into Drake. There's no way Vitality can contest around this. Not only was the flash just used, Labrov, you know, super chunked out in the bot side, but also Cabo just used his TP to get into top lane. That's the fallout of playing this matchup there too. So G2 very smartly controlling the early game thus far, moving around the map, getting aggressive. This is what we wanted to see from Jankos and the rest of G2. Now, what they need to do is continue that ball rolling, because you know when you look at Vitality's comp, Aphelios, Azir, this big, giant, beefy front line, that is going to be really hard to deal with in a team fight later on if you're on even gold, even items.
Right, and of course, we haven't seen too much of that top lane. Teleports were used just a little bit ago. Phage and Kindle Gem. Wunder had a CS advantage, and I think there's a wave that he's dealing with for the time being. So going to be probably 8, 9, 10-ish CS up. And Cabochard now making his way down. The unstoppable force is available to him. And I want to see how Cabo and Wunder make the plays. But look at this. Mikyx and Caps, they chase Cabo into the river. Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land. Unstoppable Force used defensively. Blast Cone should be just about enough. And the Krugs shouldn't get enough auto. So Cabochard forced to use ultimate. That is a big advantage in terms of what plays he could make. Now, admittedly, TP's on cooldown.
Yeah,
so,
I actually feel like Cabo got out of there really nicely, you know, that he didn't have to end up using a flash or much more than that. I wonder what woke him up from the sleep, too, if there's an auto from Wunder following him, because that looks like it should have been a very easy kill once the sleep connected from Caps.
Now, talk to me about Mikyx roaming. We're 7 minutes in. We've seen him mid. We've seen him like twice now, and both times very effective. Is this just because of the duo, or like is Mikyx popping off here?
I mean, I think Mikyx has been moving around the map really well. Off of a reset, a lot of times you'll see support's path towards mid lane, but underneath mid lane, towards the bottom side, because then you get back bot lane earlier. Instead, you actually had a call, I believe, from Wunder saying, hey, Cabochard actually walked down into the river. Maybe he's looking for the honey fruit because he was very low on mana. So Mikyx made that rotation. That was unexpected for Vitality, so I do think that was very clever.
Yeah, nicely done. And of course, with that, you can see in the bottom lane, Berserker Screeves, Longsword picked up for Perkz, BF Sword for comp. 10 CS difference in the mid lane in the advantage of Milica, somewhat expected. But 20 CS for Wunder at the time being. I want to keep track of this because both of these champions will have big influences as we get to the mid game.
Real quick though, so right now Vitality have so much bot side vision control, but they haven't seen Jankos. He pathed Krugs after the reset, so Comp and Labrov not resetting here themselves be in a little bit of trouble. I think they're playing it cautiously enough that they won't end up getting ganked, but that was a window where Jankos nearly snuck past a lot and made something happen.
There's no flash for Labrov either, so if they elected to go for that tower dive, plus trying to defend that tower in particular against Zoe and Sleepy Trouble Bubbles is just so frustrating. But look, immediately, Perkz and Mikyx push the wave, Mikyx roams mid, and now we've got really sad supportal combat.
Just why? Save the mana.
Yeah, exactly. Gigantic paddle start to the face of Milica. But I really, really like the way that G2 approach this game. They've got themselves a 1,000 gold lead.
Right now, look at this though. Vitality are here to look for a gank on Caps. He has flash though. Should be able to get out.
Where's the death sentence? That goes wide. And
ooh,
yeah,
but see, Vitality aren't actually moving up into the top side river now, so I don't think they know that Jankos is on this objective. Jankos gonna solo this one out, no problem. Again, I love this on the Lee Sin in particular, because a lot of times Lee Sins get into the situation where they can't find ganks, they don't know quite what to do. Comp though, red-white.
Yeah, red-white, the Moonlight Vigil goes up, flashboard from Comp below 101 more! Comp solo kills Perkz.
Those are the guns to do it on too. That's nuts. Here we go, top lane.
All right, Unstoppable Force was used to clear out the wave. Great heads-up play from Cabochard, but net advantage to G2. Not only do they, force him back, they get the TP out of Elisa. Now there's a chase. Yep, no Unstoppable Force, but the Sonic Wave didn't find its target. Caps isn't done yet. Paddle Star into the portal, and that does tag. But there's no trouble. Sleepy Bubble. Cabochard, low on mana, no ultimate available.
The turret will survive this charge at the start, though. But Cabo...
it's going to get caught by the Hyper. And there's the kick and defensive flash away from Jankos. So G2 get the kill, they get the tower, and they get the teleport from Elisa. That is a gigantic, gigantic advantage.
Very nicely done there. Again, another example of G2 using their pressure in their lanes to set up these plays. It's something we're looking at in draft. Can Jankos and Caps team up to attack top lane, to attack bot lane? There, they hit top lane hard.
And that's exactly what you wanted. 3,000 gold lead, though. Is that even more than you were anticipating based on how these comps will play out?
I think, it's hard to say because, again, it does come up to execution. I think this is a very good track for G2 to be on. But I do want to say, at the same time, Comp found that solo kill on Perkz in the bot lane. These cracks in G2 continue to show themselves, and I do have to put full credit to Comp, He waited until he had the right guns. He waited till it was, the 1v1 time. The chakrams and the stain off of the red gun too give you so much in a 1v1 that you can even beat a Kalista, and that's sort of Aphelios' strength. He has all these tools for different situations, and that was the right situation to look for the fight.
Now the question is, can Vitality stem the bleeding long enough for the Aphelios and Azir to ramp up. Infinity Edge is still a little while away for comp. It's going to be time now. Perkz, on the other hand, does have the Vamp Scepter, as the Inferno Drake is now going to be the next one. That's the soul they're playing for. Luden's Echo was just picked up for Caps, which I think is important, because we've seen the damage his Power Stars are already dealing.
Yeah, G2 very strong at the moment. This is where Vitality need to recognize that and say, how can we trade areas on the map? So we need to figure out how G2 are setting up these dives and side lanes. We need to make sure Cabochard is never vulnerable to one of those again. We need to make sure we can take a turret down bot lane if they do try to move for these things, because again, Vitality do not want to match up evenly against G2 at the moment. They're going to be eyeing the Infernal Drake in 4 minutes. See if Milica can find his way towards a Nashor's Tooth. Comp certainly will have an Infinity Edge by then, and that will give them a much better chance in the 5 versus 5. But again, this is going to be one that they have to navigate well, because it may be that in 4 minutes they still don't stack up super nicely against G2, because G2 is all about early, and Jankos got that first Drake so early on that Vitality do need that extra time to ramp up.
And the next question is going to be so important. I mean, Labrov is going to get just chunked out here. Dredge line onto Comp, and he's done. He's destroyed. Mikyx is playing with an aimbot and hitting every single time. Cabochard's ultimate is used for retreat only, it appears. And underneath the tower, the 5-man stack of the defending champions make a statement. 5 kills, 4,000 gold in the lead. And just before that play happened, I wanted to point out that Black Cleaver and a 40 CS advantage for Gnar means that Vitality have so many threats to deal with on so many fronts, they may not get enough time to scale.
I mean, you see it in the gold, right? When all 3 carries from G2 are all at the top there, Caps leading by a long shot.
Jankos has more gold than the majority of his opponents. Now, 1-0-4, obviously it's going to be the case, right? But it's a great representation of how far in the lead G2 are.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a situation where, again, Vitality, they need to be looking to avoid any sort of confrontation. They get caught out. Do want to say G2 have been very adept at finding these fights around the map. It's been a very good look for them, but Vitality need to calm down a little bit. I think they're probably going to have to give third Drake here. If we're looking at all the factors going into this next fight, things have happened too quickly for their competition. They were eyeing this. They were like, hey, G2, they've been weak in the early game. Let's just coast on through and we're going to be fine. We're going to beat them in the fights. This is not the right way to go about getting caught inside the river. It's a great TP from Wunder as well onto that ward. That was placed a while ago, so they find the kills.
And I mean, Comp was just getting frequent flyer miles between the Nautilus ultimate and then the hook. He physically couldn't do anything that fight. Absolutely locked down and hunted by Mikyx. And as we're approaching 15 minutes, I don't enjoy saying this, but like, it feels like this game is over because of who's playing, and this is what the stakes are. Look at our standings. Under the assumption, right, that G2 Esports win this game, they're now tied with SK, 7-7, XL 6-8, Vitality would then be 5-9. This is crazy.
I mean, I almost look at it the other way, where it's like, if Vitality were to show up here, we would have 5 teams tied in 5th.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous, and that is what that was the possibility for Vitality here, to make sure they remained, you know, in people's minds in the playoff conversation. Of course, losing this game isn't going to eliminate you by any means. They are still very close, but it's going to be a tough hill to climb.
Put the two statements together. Win this game, tied for 5th. Lose this game, drop to 9th. Right? Like that shows you just how close things are. And while we're setting up the stakes, Comp gets jumped on by that boomerang blade from Wunder. And if he goes Mega Gnar, Comp could be in trouble. Here comes Gnar. Into the Gnar! Ow! From downtown! Spanks Labrov back to the fountain. Vitality. It's a difficult situation. The team comp from G2 came online earlier, and they executed fantastically. And now all of a sudden, Milica gets tagged once again. It's just, look, G2 did what they needed to do with the champions they have.
And this is a game. So for a while now, we've said Caps have been dragging G2. And in this game, G2's players, for the most part, have been playing excellent. I think Jankos has been teaming up with Cax very well. Mikyx has been roaming around the map, getting a lot of stuff done. But it is still Caps that is so on form this split. And
it's nice to see Jankos back in the game, though, as well. You know, his Lee Sin has had a very large influence on the game. Mikyx roams as well. I mean, just when you look at the kill participation of everyone except Perkz, because he's just been solo farming, right? But the rest of the crew doing very well. In Cabochard, defensive, unstoppable force.
Speaking of caps.
Defensive, unstoppable force. Defensive, there we go. I don't think I've ever seen a Malphite use that many ultimates to run away. And now all of a sudden, Skeanz will be delivering Jankos to Milica. Jankos gets caught out, and after I was praising him, unfortunately, I cursed him. So he concedes the first death of the game. Vitality second. There's still 6,000 gold down. And they, how do they defend that?
Well, I was actually almost a little surprised to not see Vitality make more of a concerted effort to move down towards the Drake, which has just spawned. I think that they're pretty low on mana. They actually just used a lot of ultimates to finish off Jankos, so they can't convert into that. So it is a good kill for Vitality. They do need this, but G2 still going to steamroll ahead and get themselves the Infernal Drake, and they're going to be on track for a very, very quick soul. It is 5 minutes from now where basically the final line in the sand is going to be drawn for Vitality. They're going to need to be able to fight.
Can they win that fight? They're 5 minutes in the future, right? And like, I realize the answer to this most likely no.
Yeah.
So then let me rephrase it to something that's more fair, actually. How do they try to win that? I mean, Sunfire Cave Nash's IE. You've got 5 minutes of farming, maybe you get halfway to a next item, maybe a second item. But it is an unenviable position to be in if you consider that could be the death knell.
Yeah, the problem is because G2 have all 3 outer turrets and Vitality have none. We are not in a situation where Vitality can even trade gold around the map. They simply have to accept that G2 are going to be shoving in all of their waves, and that becomes difficult because you see Jankos stealing away the Krug camp. You just are going to start bleeding out resources, bleeding out gold. Lose more than you make is... Honestly, Cabochard is just miserable.
Yeah, he is. Oh, that dredge line was so close. Wunder and Gnar using the hyper, using the hop. I mean, unfortunately for Cabochard, his unstoppable force wasn't available. Those we could use that and retreat again. He had to expend the flash. But it's not only him. The entire team is miserable. The only positive thing that we've really seen this game was comp solo kill onto Perkz, and that's not to disservice Vitality. I just think G2 have played around their comp and taken advantage of Vitality.
It's also like Vitality just don't have options early on, right? Like they're just looking to scale, and they got punished. Milica, you know, got killed very early on in mid lane. The dives came through. Cabochard has just been perma-bullied this entire game, and Skeanz I don't feel like has been able to keep up with the pressure of not just Jankos, but also Mikyx and Caps getting around the map. It has been a team-wide effort for G2, whereas Vitality do not feel like they have the cohesion. They played all of their individual lanes, you know, and they did fine in those lanes, but the fact is, G2 have been able to snowball through getting kills, through coming into fights with a numbers advantage.
If you're a fan of G2, or if you're somebody that has been waiting to see what would happen, this is a very good confidence-building game. And yes, factor in competition, factor in the fact Vitality are 5 and 8, but factor in the fact that G2 have lost to many teams around them, right? This is one of the most impressive performances, arguably the most impressive of Summer. I think you could debate that maybe from the opening reads. As the Moonlight Vigil goes out, Comp trying to do what he will. 2.5 minutes till the soul.
Yeah. I mean, G2 have played a solid game so far, but they're going to have to play a lot more of games like this before they restore
absolutely agree
in their team. So now they've just got to try and close this out as cleanly as possible. I think Cap's very much in a position to do that. He's got a Mesh Axe now. He's looking to set up around this objective, and just look at the division control they have in the bot side right now. Vitality can't, it's not like they can't leave their lanes, you know? Like Skeanz is going to walk in, he's like, are any of my camps up? Oh no, they've all been stolen away. Oh, there's a ward here. Well, guess what? There's 18 other control wards that you can see. Like, they know how badly they're losing because they walk through the jungle and just, oh, gotta clear this, gotta spend 8 seconds clearing out 1 million wards, and it's gonna be very hard to set up against a Zoe who is just going to punish you whenever you try to approach the river.
Now, in terms of approaching the river and approaching that river fight, Blade of the Ruined King just picked up by Wunder's Gnar. Hurricane was picked up by Perkz as well. In contrast, we've got a Blasting Wand and a Zeal for Milica and for Comp. The only reason I want to draw attention to the item disparity is that Dragonfight is pending. It's a 7,000 gold advantage for G2. And now we start to look at next steps in closing this game out. I think they've got so many options. They've got the Soul to play around if and when they want to make a move for Baron. They've got the ability to peel off Baron if they time the Mega Gnar rightly. If there's no threat, they get a Baron. So the world is G2's oyster right now in terms of next steps.
The only thing that's holding them back is the timers in the top left corner of your screen, right?
Yes.
Because you're just waiting for that to spawn. Baron, it's a little bit early, but they've just constantly been taking away jungle camps, and we're just going to see that continue to play out. Now, Jankos, Wunder, Mikyx all here. It's time to ward and maybe even look for a pick if Vitality overextend themselves.
Standing on the front line, Dredge line sidestep.
I like the prediction, though, on the lantern take right there from Comp. Comp very patient not to pop that too early.
Comp was playing very bold. Despite the gigantic deficit, he was willing to step forward. Now look at that red-white available. Cabochard ultimate's up, but which direction will it go? Forward! Vitality yell. Retreat! Cabochard!
Oh, they're going in!
Labrov goes forward. There's the unstoppable force. It hits someone from G2! But will it matter? Caps is running for his life, so is Jankos. 7,000
Mega Gnar!
And they almost did it! But they interrupt! Skeanz turns around with a showstopper. No, did not happen.
That was actually so huge there because his ultimate just doesn't come through. He gets taken away from the fight. He had a 5-man ulti ready to go, but now Caps has TP done. Wunder could TP if he wanted to as well.
He can indeed. Perkz manages to use the ultimate. The fate's call. There goes Jankos. The
He dodged it.
Comes down and sidestep. Milica flashes for his life. Wunder's going to hop over his teammate for cover, and a Pebble Star kills Cabochard. Despite the fact that Vitality have Skeanz in the game, it was not enough. Now, Comp, though, still full health, is under threat. Defensive flash. Jankos looking for the kick. He's got the ulti available. Sonic Wave doesn't find a target. The Lantern gets him out. Caps chasing
Caps,
with
come
the
on,
spell
that's just
theme.
mean.
The Sleepy Trouble bubble. Portal jump won't land it up. Now Wunder steps forward. G2 somewhat chasing a crazy passage of play. While all that was going on, the Infernal Soul was secured. But my word, with that goal deficit?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, people have been talking a lot about Perkz, but he's the only one who turned his brain on during that entire thing because he is on the Drake while the rest of his team is chasing for stupid kills. Here we go, we see the fight one more time. It was really clever. I thought using the Lantern to get Cabochard in there because he didn't have the flash on the Malphite. He needed that extra way to close the gap, and they do chunk out Caps. This is huge, though. That's a 5-man Gnar if Skeanz doesn't use that, but of course the double hop there on the Mega Gnar, very cumbersome. It's going to take him a long time to get through that, so Skeanz is able to react nicely. And then Labrov is very low. You see over on the side, Caps, what does he do? He lands damage down onto Cabo. The fight then gets split up, and this is why Vitality can't commit forward. Comp doesn't have a front line to protect him, so there's no damage being returned from Vitality. Still, Comp is quite strong, so G2 can't just, keep flying. Yeah, show us this. Yeah, thank you. Nope, back. Nope, wrong one. Yep, come back. Nope.
We don't want to watch
Dragon.
it. We don't want to watch it. Dragon, go to Dragon.
Look, G2 are playing silly right now. Like, what's the point?
Yes! Thank you.
Let's finish that off. Oh, even in slow motion.
We're getting the slow motion.
Excellent. Yeah, good job, Perkz.
I think the observers are trying to send us...
Honestly, the best play of Perkz is Summer Split so far.
So the Infernal Soul was picked up. Thank you, observers, for... oh, we're not a replay. We're back live. Sorry. Okay, there's Wunder on the side lane. He's still got the ultimate available. And Labrov is down. I really thought that was a replay. Now, all of a sudden, G2 can make a play for Baron if they want. Elder's up in 4 minutes. It's a 10,000 goal lead. But I do want to take a second to give some kudos to Vitality. They were in a gigantic deficit. They did put up more of a fight. Come on, more of a fight than you were expecting, and me.
Well, they're going to try again. Cabochard has ultimate. He's going in.
He is going in, but at what cost? Mikyx's waiting in the side lanes. Mega Gnar's about to happen. Look at Vitality splitting up. He manages to catch Jankos, but it simply is not going to matter. Dredge line finds Milica. Instantly pulled back from the Fate's Call. Wunder finds the Gnar into the wall. The double kill for Perkz. Baron, Infernal Soul, 25 minutes. If they can finish around 28, I think average win time today is 28 minutes right now. It's been definitely one-sided games. Now Wunder is looking to chase down Cabo.
Start to finish dominance from G2. They've got the mini waves to work with. Comp and Labrov, they've given up on trying to defend. I respect that. Go farm that bot wave, but their entire base is about to be annihilated.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. I still think the Skeanz block on Wunder was sick. I have to, celebrate what I can, because there's not much for Vitality this game.
There are 2 things to celebrate in this game for Vitality, Trevor.
Yeah, Comp solo kill and Skeanz catch.
No, and them killing Jankos. Those are the only two that matter.
So this was the play. I missed the start of this because I thought it was a replay. Oh, yeah, we did not
That's a good start, and then of course pivots into the turn there. This is a really nice kick from Jankos as well. Catches both Skeanz and Labrov off of that one, but I mean, what can you say other than Vitality have no items?
Yeah.
I think Milica was sitting on a Gnasher's Tooth, and then was super split in his itemization, had like a nuclear rod and a blasting wand. Don't know what he's trying to build, but it's not an item in my shop at least.
I can't remember. Is it Riv or Flowers that says hit him with the wallet? One of them says it a lot. Twitter, let me know. I can't remember.
I think it's Flowers.
I think it might be Flowers as well, but I think Riv may have said it first. But nevertheless, this is definitely a game where G2 are hitting Vitality with their wallets. 13k up. They've got Baron. They've got Infernal Soul.
Yeah.
They've got 2 inhibitors down.
You know, something that Flowers would say is that Vitality have a comp with a bunch of meatballs on their front line, and G2 have just been eating those, and they are fed now.
Oh, no doubt about it. Now underneath the tower. Good luck dodging the damage from Caps. I mean, that Paddle Star chunks comp 50%. Look at that. Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Defensive flash from Labrov. The poor Paddle Star second time around doesn't find a target, but Caps is just...
Caps is about to go... Oh, I thought he was going to flash to extend that on comp. Here we go.
He was playing whack-a-mole indeed. Cabochard is already down. Milica's going to be the next target. Not before he takes Jankos. Now Labrov is running for his life. 1, 2, 3 Vitality. 4 Vitality members are down. And the flash from Caps into the exhaust. Paddle Star to the fountain. Will not find the target. But G2 go for the chase. No one followed Mikyx. And the rend won't be enough to do it. G2 Esports onto the Nexus. And they decimate, deconstruct, and destroy Vitality. Will they go for the final kill? It would be the most G2 thing to do. And it feels like they're thinking about it.
Surely.
Let's try that again. G2, decimate, destroy, and defeat Vitality.
Of course, it's Perkz, the one that's hitting the Nexus. He wants that win. He likes it. All right, G2 came into these last 2 weeks of the season with 2 missions, I feel like. One was, let's make sure we can make playoffs.
Yes.
And 2 was, let's try to restore some faith in the team. I think this game was a very solid showing, an important win also. But tomorrow they do go against Fnatic 2, which is going to be very pivotal.
It absolutely will. And both goals were somewhat accomplished today, at least steps towards them.
Steps towards those goals.
Towards them.
Still a long way.
Key player of the game, at LEC on Twitter, Wunder, Caps, and Mikyx. I definitely think like the team, the synergy, the cohesion that we saw today levels above what we've seen in recent games.
Yeah, I really loved how they moved around the map. I think Jankos and Mikyx did a great job of shutting everything down, and Caps showed up again.
How early is it? It's 9:30, and we're closing things out with a massive showdown. Rogue looking to remain in first place by beating Fnatic and guaranteeing a spot in playoffs with Mad Lions. Don't go anywhere, because I said so.
Never listen to you again.
To their inhib will be hitting the Nexus towers relatively soon. But there's the Soul stolen!
Larson could just TP into the base at any moment and try to end the game if they do not keep their eyes on the double TP. Rogue want to finish it in style. Right when we asked for Rogue here to deliver, you want something spicy. Rogue are more than happy to serve it up.
To keep this first place spot, we have to be well prepared for every matches, because right now every matches count.
Down to about half HP, but here's the TP, and there goes Sett. He doesn't get the dragon. It's secured by Fnatic, and you can see the Elder Spirits rise out of Fnatic. He's fallen, and watch the dragons smite Origin.
Rogue is like a better version of Origin. It just seems like they're all on the same page. To me, it's just the best teams are the ones that function good together, and right now it looks like Rogue is a team that functions really well together.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.
everybody. Welcome back to the LEC. I'm joined here by G2's Caps after a very convincing victory, I would say, versus Vitality. Congratulations, Caps.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great stuff. I want to talk a little bit about your composition and kind of how it functions in the game. We saw that you guys did very well in the early game, but would you say that it was necessary for this comp, also looking at Vitality's comp, to kind of stomp the early game or be very good in the early game in order to get the win?
I mean, I don't know if we have to necessarily like stomp them, but we definitely have to get like an advantage, and rather that's like by like stumping them or just getting like small things that can lead into more things or stuff like that. It's definitely good for us to get that, since we have like a lot of winning lanes this game, and overall we're just very strong like early skirmishes. So hopefully we can get something with it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys focus on the early game and on the skirmishes in the early game more than other teams in the LEC. We see a lot of them going for more scaling approaches or compositions. Do you think it is right now just better to play like you guys approach the games, or is that just something that G2 is very good at, but it is not necessarily the best thing to do in the meta?
Well, I don't think we're like necessarily just doing like there's just like only playing for early game or only playing for late game or anything like this. We're just like kind of trying out a bunch of different things. Obviously, we haven't played that well this split, so we're just trying to figure out a way that works for us and champions that work for us. I mean, last week we got like a comeback win against Rogue, right? So it's not necessarily like bad for us to go late game. I don't think we're scared of any team in the late game, but it's just more we just draft whatever we think is strongest, and we thought that this comp would work really well, especially against Vitality. So we just went for it.
Yeah, trying out a couple of things. You're also the Kia player of the game. It was a monster victory. It was really, really impressive. And you've also just been playing out of your mind. And I heard you bring up the fact that it hasn't been the best split for G2. We've talked about that a lot, but I'd just like to know from your perspective, how you've been dealing with everything and the fact that it hasn't been as successful as it's been in the past in the team.
So it's definitely been like a weird split like that, and just I mean, dealing with it. I mentioned like before in like one of the player of the games, I think that I never really thought about making playoffs before. It was never really something that was like in my mind. There was always something that, especially the last couple of years, that we just like had secured early on, and we were more trying out different comps, trying out like what worked for us. But now I have been thinking more of what it would actually mean if we missed playoffs, like if we missed Worlds, not getting the chance to like prove ourselves and get the revenge that we have been wanting to get for a long time now. So that's just like not acceptable. And I mean, I think we're all just doing everything in our power to bounce back, to become strong for not just like making playoffs, but for winning the whole thing, and hopefully transfer that into Worlds as well, where we look to have a strong performance.
Yeah, fantastic to hear that. And as you say, it could have been a big watershed moment, that comeback versus Rogue, now this convincing victory as well. Tomorrow you have a very big matchup as well. It's versus Fnatic. Always a super hyped one, but it's so different this time just because both of you are not exactly in the best form of your lives. What can you say about that matchup versus your ex-team?
So going up against Fnatic is always hype. I think regardless of how they have been performing, how we have been performing, I think they will step it up for the match against us. I think they usually try to bring their best games against us. We do the same because of the rivalry. So I don't know exactly what to expect from them. It's going to be fun to see their next game today and how they do. But other than that, we will just come in and try to get another win because we really, really need them if we want to make playoffs. All
right, that is right. Thank you so much, Caps. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
And good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
And as Caps said, it is a big one. Rogue versus Fnatic is up next after the break.